Hello everybody, welcome to another video. This is me, Jazz. I hope you're all doing well, not getting too bored. Today you have got Esther Mantle giving you some study tips on how to study. So I hope you enjoy and find them helpful. If you have any questions or if you want to comment, message me on Instagram and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Enjoy this, have a lovely Sunday, and I'll see you soon. Bye!
Hi everyone, I'm Esther and I'm a secondary school teacher, just in case you don't know who I am. And I want to talk to you today about, I was listening to this psychologist, this American psychologist called Dr. Henry Cloud, and he was talking about sort of how do we cope in sort of the pandemic, and how are we coping with this idea of lockdown. And he was talking about how God has sort of created us with this blueprint, this plan for our lives, and he sort of talked about how the foundational, the first thing that we need in our lives is connectedness. We need to connect with people. We need to connect with God, and we need this sense of connectedness. We need to experience relationship, and the idea is that, you know, we weren't meant to be alone. We weren't created to be alone. And if I just have a little read of some verses from Ecclesiastes 4, it says, 2 people are better off than one, for they can help each other succeed. If one person falls, the other one can reach out and help, but someone who falls alone is in real trouble. It says, a person standing alone can be attacked and defeated, but 2 can stand back to back and conquer. 3 are even better, for a triple braided cord is not easily broken. So the idea is that we're not meant to be alone. We're not meant to be on our own. And this lockdown and this pandemic has really impacted the way that we're able to sort of connect with people. And psychology says that our brains really struggle if we're not rooted, if we're not connected. And so, you know, this pandemic has really impacted that. So it could be the people that you see every day on the bus to school, or the people that you have lunch with at college. Or for me, I work really closely with a colleague, Karen. We share an office, we do all our work together, and she's not just a colleague, she's my friend, and it's really horrible that I'm not seeing her every single day. So that connectedness has gone, and that is having a really big impact. So that the first thing then was connectedness. The second thing that we all need in our lives is structure. So we all need routine. We have schedules, we have order in our lives. And so for me, what my life looked like before this pandemic was the alarm would go at 6. Me and my husband, we'd get up, we'd have breakfast together, we'd read our Bible. I'd be in the car by 7:30 at the latest, and I would be in work just after 8, and I'd be doing briefing at 8:30, and then my day is managed by a timetable of lessons that I'm going to be teaching. And it's really, really organised. And I guess our lives, God created a routine for us. We've got day and night, we've got days of the week, we've got a rest day. And so not having that routine is really, it can have an impact on how our brains are working, when that is taken away from us. The third thing that Dr. Henry Cloud said that we need is some form of control in our life. So like self-control. So being able to make decisions, being able to make choices about when we leave the house, what we eat, when we eat, different things like that. And obviously that's been taken away from us. So the first, at the start of the lockdown, we couldn't go out more than once a day. We couldn't see our friends, we couldn't see our family. Okay, it's being relaxed a little bit now, but we've still lost that control. So it's not about controlling others, but it's about that self-control, having control in our own lives. And the fourth thing then is having something of worth that we do, having something meaningful in our lives. We all need activities that are good, things that we're good at, things that we can find value in. And lockdown, again, has had an impact on that. It's taken away our opportunity to do that. So the fact that I'm not in work, I'm not in school with the pupils that I teach, I'm not helping like I used to. And that's really hard for me because I do get a lot of value and worth from that. I've had friends that have had loved ones die during the pandemic, during the lockdown, and I can't see them and I can't hug them and I can't say, and see them and show that I care, and that's really hard that I'm not able to do that. So Dr. Henry Cloud talked about some things that we could do just during lockdown, even as it is easing and it is changing, but it's still not normal. It's still not the normal life that we had before, and it doesn't seem like we're going to be going back to that normal anytime soon. So if we think about connecting with others, we're not able to connect necessarily like we were before, but I think there's still lots of things that we can do. And I think I'd really encourage all of us to reach out to our friends, be the person who reaches out first. It's really easy sometimes, or maybe it's just me, but I think it's really easy to sometimes maybe feel sorry for ourselves, think that nobody's contacting us. Don't do that. Be the person who gets in touch, check in on people, talk to your friends about how you're feeling. I think it'll give them the freedom to then say how they're feeling. Organise a Zoom quiz, arrange to watch a Netflix film together. There's all sorts of things that you can do to connect with people. It could be read the Bible together. It could be get together and pray over WhatsApp or FaceTime or however you're connecting with people. Go look to see what God's got to say about justice. We're in really challenging times. What does God say? Have a look with your friends, explore that together. Another thing, so the second thing, this idea of structure, try and add some structure to your life. So it could be getting up at a certain time each morning. I'm not saying 6 o'clock, but I know certainly for us, we're getting up at about 7:30. That is an amazing lie-in. We're loving it. We're still having breakfast together. We're praying together, reading our Bible together. 11 o'clock, we have our coffee break and so on. So we are still having that routine. And I'd really encourage you, get up, do Joe Wicks, have some purpose, set some goals. What do you want to achieve in your day? So that you've still got a little bit of routine that you're working through. It's obviously not going to look like when you were going to school, to college or work or whatever. But try and get some routine in your life. The third thing, that idea of not having control, Dr. Henry Cloud encourages people to write a list of all the things that you can't control. So, for example, I can't control when there's going to be a vaccine. I can't control when I'm going to be able to hug my nieces again. I can't control what it's going to look like when we're back in school. Write all those things down and give yourself 10 minutes to just feel that sort of stress and worry, and then give it to God. Give it to Him. Okay, surrender it to Him, because He's the one who's got this. Then write down those things that you can control. So I try and identify, what do you have control over? The fourth thing then, that idea of we all need things that we do that are meaningful. So look for those things. What can you do to help others? What difference can you make? It is obviously going to look different, but how can you help others? What are you going to do to thrive? So checking in with your friends, phoning your nan. I'm phoning my nan to check in on how she's doing. Could you maybe go shopping for an elderly neighbour? Are you creative? Draw, write, compose, campaign, look online. What opportunities are there for you to get involved in different things? Even from your home, you're going to be able to make a difference. do your schoolwork. I know your teachers will be so encouraged and they'll feel really, really good about yourselves if you do some of your schoolwork. So if you get a chance to do that, have a go at doing that. I know I've got a nephew who is in year 9 and he's really into BMXing. And so he is practicing again and again and again, doing his tricks. He is doing something of worth, he's doing something of value, and he is getting better and better at doing that. The last thing I would say, and I'm adding this myself, is try and limit your time on the news and on social media. I know for me, I've had to put a limit on my phone on how much time I go on Instagram, because it gets overwhelming. When I'm scrolling and scrolling, it can get so overwhelming. I've had to delete Instagram a couple of times off my phone, and I have this limit because it does affect us. I can feel anxiety kicking in if I'm looking too much. So I've got to give myself that break. And I'd really encourage you to think about that. So it really is important for us to remember that God is above everything. He's above this, and he's going to bring us through it. It is a time of anxiety, it is a time of stress, but he is going to bring us through it. God doesn't promise that we won't go through hard times, but he does promise to be with us, and he does promise to bring us through it. So I just want to finish with reading some verses from Isaiah 43. It's about that idea that we will go through hard times, but God will be with us and he will bring us through. So it says, "But now, O Jacob, listen to the Lord who created you. O Israel, the one who formed you says, do not be afraid, for I have ransomed you. I have called you by name. You are mine. When you go through deep waters, I will be with you. When you go through rivers of difficulty, you will not drown. When you walk through the fire of oppression, you will not be burned up. The flames will not consume you." Our God, he's with us.